Hi, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host, just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona. And hopefully today with our picks and your picks, it's going to be another profitable day for you. Wednesday, January 31st, NBA and college basketball slate. Quite a few games going on today. We've got quite a few college games we're in on, and then also the NBA slate. So let's hop right into those. We'll get started with the college basketball and then move on from there. First game we're on today is going to be Alabama at Georgia. Georgia, 6.5-point home dog. SEC play at home. They've been pretty solid. Alabama's been really good at home as well, but now going on the road to Georgia. Just if this was 3, something we consider, but 6.5, we're through the key number of 5 when it comes to basketball. I honestly see this thing as Georgia's got a great shot to win this game outright, let alone getting 6.5 points in this one here. So they've been, like I said, really good at home. We'll go ahead and take Georgia here, plus 3.5 first half, and then we also got them at plus 6 for the game. One more time, Georgia plus 3.5 first half, and also plus 6 for the game. Next game up we're going to be is another SEC game. We're going to be Florida at Kentucky. These guys played earlier in the year. Kentucky ended up winning that game outright in overtime against Florida. Now going back home. Kentucky's been pretty dominant at home. They've been good on the road. That's why they're ranked in the top 10. A young team, still kind of, motoring their way through. This team could definitely cause some trouble in the, I think, once we get to the tournament. But Kentucky had, only given 5.5, 6 points here. Just one of those things. I think, this could be an easy double-digit win for them and kind of coast to the end. So we will take Kentucky minus 3.5 first half, minus 6 for the game. One more time, Kentucky minus 3.5 first half, minus 6 for the game. Next game up, we're on a Big East matchup. Providence going to UConn. UConn 13, 12.5, 13.5 point favorite, depending on where you're at. Providence struggled. It's definitely going to be a struggle for them on the way out. UConn has been good on the road and dominant at home. It's a big number, but don't be scared of this number whatsoever. UConn is definitely the ticket here, and just keep betting them until the wheels fall off, so to speak, at home. So UConn minus 7.5 first half, minus 12.5 for the game. One more time, UConn minus 7.5 first half, minus 12.5 for the game. Last game up for us for college basketball, Boise State traveling to New Mexico, going to the Pit in Albuquerque. New Mexico has been one of the top few teams, or top best teams against the number all season long in college basketball, and especially at home. I tell you what, this team, watch out tournament time, this team can make some rumblings for sure. So they can play some defense, they can score, they create problems for every team that seemed to go up against them so far this year. So we will take New Mexico. This is our favorite college basketball game today. New Mexico minus 6.5 first half, minus 10.5 for the game. One more time, New Mexico minus 6.5 first half, minus 10.5 for the game. We'll get over to the NBA slate. Got a lot of games going on. First game for us is going to be Clippers-Wizards. Clippers 11-point favorite. Looks like everybody's supposed to play. Leonard, Paul George, Harden, all those guys. So 235.5 total. Clippers are one of the best teams in the league right now. Have been the hottest team for probably the last 2 months. And Wizards have not. Wizards at the bottom of the league. Going to be drafting high in the draft again. I don't know. There's not a lot of, and there's not a lot of hope, I don't think, for Wizards fans that they have like a couple cornerstone pieces or something to that effect. They got a bunch of second-round picks coming from the Bradley Beal deal. But do we really see much else going on for the Wizards at the moment? Really don't, to be honest with you here. But we're going to roll with the Clippers. The only thing that we worry about, like with Clippers, is if they get so far ahead, or is everybody going to be sitting? So we've got to be careful on the player props here. If you like overs, everybody likes over. It's more fun than betting unders, trust me. Plus, you could get if they hit it early and go crazy, you could be done with the bet, halfway through the game. Or if you're sitting on an under, you got to wait for the whole thing to finish out. But we are rolling with the Clippers today, minus 3.5 first quarter, minus 6.5 first half, minus 11 for the game. Harden over 2.5 turnovers. Daniel Gafford over a half a turnover. Kawhi Leonard under 2.5 threes. And Wizards under 111.5 team total, as the Clippers have figured out how to play defense again, which is always good for them. So Clippers minus 3.5 first quarter, minus 6.5 first half, minus 11 for the game. Harden over 2.5 turnovers. Gafford over a half a turnover. Kawhi Leonard under 2.5 threes. Wizards under 111.5 team total. Next game up for us is going to be Pistons at the Cavs. Pistons going to Cleveland, 12.5-point dog. No surprise there. 231 total. Now, unlike the Wizards, I think the Pistons do have a couple pieces. It's called Jalen Duren and then also Cade Cunningham. I think those are two pieces you can possibly build around. You got a big, strong inside guy. You got a good point guard that can also shoot from three and go to the hoop. Cade's got some, major scoring ability as well. So those are two guys you can build around. So even though the Pistons record doesn't reflect it this season, I think you can be excited for what they're going to possibly see in the future there. So on that one. But all that being said, the Cavs have been playing extremely well, 5th in the East. And if it wouldn't have been for the Knicks going on like this 8-game win streak, they'd be 4th in the East. But they've been playing well. Jarrett Allen's has improved from last year quite a bit. His rebound totals are up. Point totals have been a little more consistent and up. Starting to get a few block shots here and there as well. Really like what Jarrett Allen's done. Donovan Mitchell's, maybe spread the ball a little bit more instead of trying to be so ball dominant. I think most of these NBA teams will figure out the more the ball moves, the more the wide open the shots are, the higher the scoring, which is what you're looking for, and the better the efficiency. It's when you go hero ball or one-on-one ball or ISO ball where that efficiency goes way down. This is not the Michael Jordan era of the 90s. The ball needs to move. If the guys out there that are sitting at the three-point line can't shoot, they don't need to be in the game, and you need to find somebody else. There's a lot of shooters throughout all kinds of basketball throughout all out the world on that one. But that being said, we do like the Cavs today quite a bit on that one. So Cavs -4 first quarter, -7.5 first half, -12.5 for the game. Donovan Mitchell over 2.5 threes. Jarrett Allen over 16.5 points, over 11.5 rebounds, over 31.5 par, and over 1.5 blocks. So one more time in this Cavs-Pistons matchup. Cavs -4 first quarter, -7.5 first half, -12.5 for the game. Donovan Mitchell over 2.5 threes. Jarrett Allen over 16.5 points, over 11.5 rebounds, over 31.5 par, over 1.5 blocks. Next game up, Bulls-Hornets. Hornets 5.5-point home dog, 215 total. Chicago coming to town. Chicago has been kind of the kryptonite of our season so far in the NBA. No reason to pull our hair out on this one. No LaMelo Ball, so no props to really bet on LaMelo. The Hornets look absolutely horrible out there right at the moment with no Rozier or Ball. They have nobody to really distribute the ball at all. It's like it's a bunch of ISO ball with Miles Bridges or Nick Richards. Not interested in either side of this game. No player prop, nothing. If there was a bet to bet under 40% field goal percentage, I'd probably bet that in this particular game. That'd be about it. But we're not touching this one at all. You can check out our Google Sheets to see if we do update any bets on this. I don't foresee it happening, to be really honest, on this game. So we will get on to the next one. Kings at the Heat. Kings getting 2, going down to South Beach. 231.5 total, depending on where you're at. We do like the under here in this particular matchup. The Heat have been on an 8-game losing streak. They're struggling to find buckets. It's the best way I can possibly put that. They're absolutely struggling to find buckets. The Kings don't score as many points on the road. No surprise there. They light it up a little bit more at home, or when they're playing like a lot of the Western Conference teams, they tend to score more points on that one. But we do not like that. We like the under, and we like the under quite a bit in this one. So Heat Kings under 58.5 total first quarter, under 118.5 first half, under 231.5 for the game. De'Aaron Fox under 25.5 points, under 2.5 threes, over 2.5 turnovers, and Tyler Hero under 3.5 threes. So one more time in this Heat Kings matchup, under 58.5 first quarter, under 118 first half, under 231.5 for the game. De'Aaron Fox under 25.5 points, under 2.5 threes, over 2.5 turnovers. Tyler Hero under 3.5 threes in that matchup. Next game up is going to be the Magic at the Spurs. The Magic finally seem to find the elixir the last couple here on how to score some points. And they should be able to score pretty easy against this Ole defense of the Spurs. Spurs 5.5-point home dog, 226.5 total. We like the total here quite a bit. The Spurs tend to score more at home. The only negative is if they get down by quite a bit, a lot of times that tends to tail off for the Spurs. Don't foresee that one happening in this matchup. This game should be a little closer throughout. But we do like the over here in this matchup. So Spurs Magic over 58.5 first quarter, over 116.5 first half, over 226.5 for the game. Banchero over 24.5 points, over 37.5 par. Then we get to the reason why everybody watches the Spurs, and that's called Wemby props. Over 24.5 points. Wembayamba over 1.5 threes, over 38.5 par, over 2.5 blocks, over 3.5 turnovers. So one more time in this Spurs Magic matchup. Over 58.5 first quarter, over 116.5 first half, over 226.5 for the game. Wemby over 24.5 points, over 1.5 threes, over 38.5 par, over 2.5 blocks, over 3.5 turnovers. Banchero for the Magic over 24.5 points and over 37.5 par. Next game up, Mavericks going to the T-Wolves. No Luka, no Kyrie, no Derek Lively in this matchup for the Mavs. That's why we got a 13-point spread. Minnesota at home, 221 total. All three of those guys sit and makes this pretty impossible, it seems like, on paper against the T-Wolves. Best record in the West. A lot of times, though, teams tend to relax quite a bit in these situations and maybe don't push it to the metal as much. I don't know if Minnesota's going to do that as much, but I expect them to kind of make sure everybody gets a touch, so to speak. No reason for one guy to go off for 50 in a game like this. They should easily win. But in this one, just a few player props for us in this one here. Tim Hardaway over 23.5 points. He's going to be the primary scorer, definitely in this matchup for him. Over 3.5 threes. And then Rudy Gobert for the T-Wolves, over 14.5 points, over 13.5 rebounds, and 3+ blocks. And if they drive the ball to the hoop, which Hardaway will probably have to do a lot more tonight, expect that he should get some block opportunities. Those guys drive it to the hole on that one and try to get three-pointer shooters open. If they can't, try to score around the rim. Let's go Bears domain, and should have a lot of block opportunities. So we like those 3+ blocks tonight, especially at plus 170 on DraftKings. So one more time in that T-Wolves Mavericks, half a Mavericks matchup. Hardaway over 23.5 points, over 3.5 threes. Gobert over 14.5 points, over 13.5 rebounds, and 3+ blocks. Next game up for us is going to be, Pelicans Rockets. So on this one here, the book still hasn't figured out that the Rockets should never be a dog at home unless playing one of the top 3-4 teams. Pelicans are not there at the moment. They were earlier in the season. They've kind of they've had a couple stretches where they were the hottest team in the league, and then they've had a couple stretches where they're the coldest. So we definitely like the Rockets here. We grabbed it at 3 yesterday, getting 3, but it's 2. I still like it at 2. Anytime you can get the Rockets at home with points, that's a boat you want to ride on. So Rockets plus a half first quarter, plus a half first half, plus 3 for the game. Jalen Green's been showing off a little bit, so we're going to ride him again in this one. Over 19.5 points, over 2.5 threes, over 28.5 par, and then Sengun over 2.5 turnovers, McCollum over 1.5 turnovers. So one more time, Rockets, Pelicans. Rockets plus a half first quarter, plus a half first half, plus 3 for the game. Jalen Green over 19.5 points, over 2.5 threes, over 28.5 par. Sengun over 2.5 turnovers, and McCollum over 1.5 turnovers. Next game up, Nuggets, Thunder. This line has just jumped like 4 points, which means SGA is probably playing. We haven't got that notification yet. This was 2. Now all of a sudden back to 6. We like the only issue I see in this game for the Thunder is that it's like the 6th game in 9 nights. So situationally not perfect, but the Nuggets struggle on the road and they struggle against the Thunder. The Thunder have really good matchups for them. They have a better point guard in SGA. They have somebody in the middle that can block shots, and they have a bunch of wings. That seems to create problems for the Thunder. Not for the Thunder, I'm sorry, for the Nuggets. So we like the Thunder here. At 6, it's a little bit tighter. I might consider like an alt line or something, maybe 3, because you move past that key number of 5. But Thunder minus a half first quarter, minus a half first half, minus a half third quarter, and minus 2 for the game. Jokic over 3.5 turnovers. There was no other player props available. I'm sure they're going to be available later, so make sure you do check the Google Sheets at the end of every show we do in the comment section. There'll be a link. Click into that. That'll be a ledger of all of our bets, what juice we got them at, how many units, and what book we placed them at. So do make sure you check back in on that one there. to see if we've updated some bets for that one. But Thunder -0.5 first quarter, first half, and third quarter, and then -2 for the game. Jokic over 3.5 turnovers are definitely bets we've already made on that one. Next game up, Suns at the Nets. If you can figure out the Suns, please give me the directions, because they've been a little choppy, but they've played better, but then haven't played better. They've had some fourth quarter collapses. They've had some fourth quarter comebacks. They're just inconsistent. It's the best way to kind of conceive this. Kind of what we thought we'd see for quite a bit of the season, but we're getting close to the All-Star break. I know they haven't played a ton together, the big three horses, but they should be able to put this together sooner rather than later. But the Nets, last game, of course, shot the lights out. Ben Simmons was doing his thing with rebounds and assists all over the place. But being that big trade with Kevin Durant last year, there's also a little motivation factor, I think, for the Nets, especially Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, going against their former team of the Suns. So we like the Nets here. We'll take the points at home. Nothing wrong with the home dog in this situation. So Holmes. How about Nets +0.5 first quarter, +1.5 first half, +3 for the game. Mikal Bridges over 24.5 points, over 2.5 threes, over 32.5 par. Cam Johnson over 2.5 threes, and Booker over 2.5 turnovers, as he's had a couple games in a row where he didn't get 2 turnovers. So probably time for him to start turning the ball over again. So one more time, Nets and the Suns. Nets +0.5 first quarter, +1.5 first half, +3 for the game. Mikal Bridges over 24.5 points, over 2.5 threes, over 32.5 par. Cam Johnson over 2.5 threes. Devin Booker over 2.5 turnovers. And we'll get into the late game of the night. Bucks going to the Portland. Dame's former team should get a first game back. Bucks -11, 237 total. Now, we will probably come back. I was waiting for this line to go up a little bit more. I think as the day goes on, the Bucks are going to be favored by more and more, and we want to catch this a little bit later. But we do like the Blazers here for 2 reasons. Number one, they do cover quite a bit at home, getting all the points that they've gotten. And number 2 is the Bucks are horrible as double-digit favorites. But we love Dame Lillard coming back home here. It is going to be our best bet. His over 26.5 points. We have a bunch of props in this particular game. Like I said, we'll probably come back and add some Blazers to this as well. But Damian Lillard over 26.5 points. Damian Lillard 30+ points. Damian Lillard 35+ points. And Damian Lillard 40+ points. Damian Lillard 3.5 threes, over 3.5 threes. Let's just say Damian Lillard 4 threes, 5 threes, and 6 threes. Giannis over 6.5 assists, as we think he's going to try to throw the ball to Lillard quite a bit, give him the shots, and Lillard over 36.5 par. So these alternate line ones that are bigger plus money, obviously less money bet on those, but I think a lot of value here. I think Dame could go for 40 and 6 threes tonight. Definitely a possibility of him going back home. I think they want to feed him and give him a lot of opportunities. He's just got to sink the shots, I think is what it's going to boil down to. And if anything else, he can always drive it to the hoop and get 2 free throws, as he's the master of that. So one more time, Trailblazers and Bucks. Like I said, make sure you check the Google Sheets. We're probably going to end up adding Trailblazers to this as well. But Lillard over 26.5 points, 30+ points, 35+ points, and 40+ points. Lillard 4+ threes, 5+ threes, 6+ threes. Giannis over 6.5 assists, and Lillard over 36.5 par. So like I mentioned a few times here during this show, at the end of every episode that we do, in the comment section was a link to a Google Sheet, which says docs.google.spreadsheet and a bunch of other stuff behind it. That is a ledger of all of our bets, what juice we got those at, how many units we wagered, what book we placed them at, and then obviously the result. So do make sure you check that out when you get some time. You can go through what we've done so far all season. It's 4,000 plus units up on basketball. It's been a monster. But you can also look back to football. We've got a bunch of Super Bowl wagers we've already done if you wanted to take a look at those. Also, if you wanted to look at baseball last year, and baseball this year's coming around the corner, we'll have some season-long plays posted here before too long once we get those all done as we go through all those. So make sure you check that out when you get some time. And as always, if you could subscribe and get notifications to our YouTube channel, so when we drop our bets, you get those first. Makes life really simple. Once you hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on for YouTube. You get a notification to your phone or device to let you know Sports Bets for Free has dropped a new episode of bets. And we get those out in plenty of time to match them up with your bets and give you a ton of confidence you need heading to that betting app or betting window. I do appreciate everybody's support as always, and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.